Hey everybody, we're in New York City. I'm in Madison Square Park. You can get a nice little view, a tour. Lovely day here in late August. Pilot Minute Coaching, the topic of the week, being seen and being visible. So, looks like Facebook says on the bottom, they're building an audience for me, whatever that means. So if you join, say hi. Every week we kind of have this thing where you join, whether it's live or after the fact, like put a little comment below and be like, hey Ben, or if you hit, you can hit like or love or laugh or hate or whatever you want to hit. And they fly across my screen, so it's actually kind of fun for me. So like, please say hi, please comment. Do these every week. I feel like I'm like almost like a person on stage. You need a little feedback, so that's always good. So we're talking about being seen and being connected. And when you think about our Pilot Minute Coaching, every week we kind of have a different topic that we've gone through. Oh, we have a little sun. See, look, it's coming on me right now. This is truly live. So this is about being in the ambient awareness of people when people think of you. I've been shocked in my career and in my business how much has come to me because people think of me. Not because like I saw something that I applied for, a job or a program or a promotion or a trip. People say, hey, just was thinking, wanted to invite you to this thing, have you do this thing, whatever. And it's so like there's far more opportunities than there are going to be places you can be at a given time. So what you want is to be kind of in that awareness, on someone's mind, being considered even when you're not there. And that's the whole idea of being seen and being connected, and that's where it can really move your career ahead. So fortunately I have these little cards that I write my notes on, and that's what I'm doing right now. So all the ugliness behind the camera here, you know? So people like all the time, they talk to me, my coaching clients, everyone, they go looking for opportunities. They want to sell, they want to network, they want to find something new to do, they want to join a group or a trip or whatever, and they like act like a hog looking for a truffle. They're looking for that opportunity. But I think it was Reid Hoffman, who's the co-founder of LinkedIn, said once, you don't want to look for the opportunity because the opportunity is like a red balloon, but it's tied to someone's string, on a string, tied to someone like it's a person. So don't look for the red balloon because it's tied to the person. Look for the person, and it'll lead you to the red balloon, is the opportunity. So when you think about those opportunities, they're all people, and those people can bring opportunities to you, or you can find them. So rather than think of the job post or the trip or the association or the board or the sales opportunity or the whatever, think of all the people, because it's really, I mean, if you talk to successful people, you watch interviews, you read, Adam Bryant's column, The Corner Office, the New York Times, etc. It's all about their relationships. It's all about like how they've had those things work for their career, and so that's a very, very important part of those things. So. Yeah, the idea is like, how can people stumble across you? Oh, there's a red balloon. Yes, Benjamin, I'm gonna like that right now. Benjamin found the red balloon. I like that. So how can people stumble across you? How can they, find you? So sometimes it can be like search engine optimization, and it can be an ad or something, or your website. But like even like me doing this Facebook Live stuff, like people have been reaching out. They're like, oh, like I had someone yesterday like reach out and come talk to me about potentially doing business. And it wasn't like these Facebook Live things are like, oh, come and have me be your coach. It's not the point. I'm providing what I hope is useful and engaging information in general, independent if you never talk to me otherwise. And I'm helping kind of create the content that I want to put into more of Pilot's products. But as a result, like someone that like kind of knew a little about what I did, found something useful, we sat down for coffee, and it turned into like this whole thing, this kind of win-win conversation that really energized my afternoon. And that was like because like he had stumbled across me because I was doing these things. So is that something you put out in an email? What do you put? I mean, just like the simplest, easiest, cheapest thing. What do you share on social media? I mean, it's great that you're floating in some little bathing suit on a swan in some pool somewhere. I mean, that's fun. I like that stuff too. But like besides saying that like you're cute, what else are you communicating? What are you communicating about what you're interested in or what you're up to? I mean, it may be something like you're super interested in transit and like they need a new person on the community board, and it's like your friend that like needs more leadership to get you involved in that, Maybe that you want to do more photo assisting, or that you're a model, or maybe that, you want to babysit, or you want to, take care of someone's French bulldog. I mean, if you've got a French bulldog, let me know. I'll be that person. So, getting out there and letting people know kind of like what you're about, what you're into, what you're up to, what you're working on. I've been amazed. People will say, oh, like I'm writing a book, would love some feedback. People out of the woodwork say, oh, my husband's a book, agent for one of the large, all of a sudden things just move because you kind of put it out there. Whether you ask for help or you just kind of share what you're working on or what you're into. So I know people that'll say, hey, Just wrapped up a really cool consulting project on this. Hey Charbel, what's up? And I see Rachel and Luisa are on. Hey, what's up, you guys? As people wrap up a consulting project, they share what it was about. People are like, oh, we could use that at my company. Boom! All of a sudden, they have a sales lead, and like it can happen just like that. Not even though it wasn't a pitch, it was just merely sharing. So, how do you help people stumble across you? That's one thing you always want to be thinking about. This is my next card here. One other thing when you do that, like think about being useful and helpful, not just promotional. Sometimes people get a little fatigued if someone is always like saying, hey, hire me to do this or do that. Like you'll see, like, I don't know if I've ever put a Facebook post up that says like, hire me. I mean, my coaching practice has been sold out for about a year anyway, but even if it wasn't, like, I'm much more into like, hey, let me give you some tips or suggestions that could be useful to you in your life. And as a result, create an affinity with you. And then if you're interested in hiring me, that's great. You'll probably be engaged enough to go to my website or send me an email or a Facebook message, but it's like less of like a direct advertisement or solicitation, and it's more thinking about like, how could I help other people? You know, I shared an article about negotiation earlier this week. I didn't write it. It was a great article. An engineer at Airbnb has a fantastic mindset about negotiation. And it's this fantastic article on Medium, and I shared it, and like a number of people have reached out and messaged me about it. People have been commented on it, etc. They've reshared it, and it was like I was just being useful. It wasn't even my content, but like thinking about those sort of things, that I'm in that mindset and I want to share. Like, how can you do that as well? Like, you know, I had a mentor, Marsha Connor, who's still a friend and mentor, a number of years ago, said, you know, if you read something useful, you see something useful, share it. Don't be stingy. So, well, I'm very consistent about tweeting and putting on LinkedIn. So if you're not LinkedIn, connect with me, or if you don't tweet with me, I'm Ben Brooks NY on both of those platforms. But she said, just put stuff out there. So I'll find stuff about, like, you know, yesterday was the lamp posts in Central Park and how they tell you which street you're near. The cross streets. I didn't know that, and I'd seen the numbers and never quite knew what they meant, you know. Or it'll be something about, you know, how different, you know, Instagram stories are being used in a cool way for companies, etc. Like, just focus on being useful rather than just soliciting or just, you know, popping your head in and just having a presence everywhere. In terms of invitations, you know, saying yes. I mean, you know, oftentimes when it comes to like big deals or participating in groups for the long term, like saying yes can be a bad thing because it can suck up a lot of your time. Give you more of a view of the park as we go around. But say yes to invitations. Say yes to, you know, if it's a breakfast or a meetup or something like that, and then actually show up. You know, like I remember I got invited randomly to these Wall Street Journal breakfasts, and all of a sudden I started meeting these really interesting people. I don't even know how I got on the list, but I RSVP'd, and it was at 8 a.m. and whatever. But, you know, I got to meet all these great, interesting people as a result of simply saying yes and then following through. So that's another way, just again, to be seen and to be connected, just to be, you know, I've had so many serendipitous meetings in my life and meetups and things because simply it was like right place at the right time. You know, someone has a conversation, I have the right listening, and then something shows up in that regard. So if you're just joining, say, hey, we're talking about being seen and being connected in your career, how that makes a huge difference. There's Zoe, what's up, San Francisco. And we're in Madison Square Park here in New York City on a surprisingly not nasty and humid day in late August. But, you know, the idea of being in people's awareness, their ambient awareness, being on their mind, you know, when they have a need or want to involve or get advice or pick the brain of or get connected. Oh, Zoe wants sunglasses off. All right, see, I'm coachable. Zoe says, hard to be seen and be connected with your sunglasses on. So good advice, Zoe. And I got better light now. I found light. Adam would be happy I found my light. So there we go. I'm going to like Zoe's thing. See, responsive to feedback. Now I'm seen and I'm connected. That's a big, show up to those invitations, you know, and then be open to meeting new people. Like I have so many what I call like business blind dates. I get connected a lot. Now I'll tell you, some of them are a total waste of time, a minority, right? I hate Cody. But a lot of them turn out to be something really interesting, and I always go with an open mind. I don't know if I'm just going to laugh or hear good stories or find out where I should go have great lobster rolls when I visit Maine or whatever it may be. Sometimes it's someone I end up hiring, or they give me really great ideas about something, or and more important, I can help them. But I say yes to introductions. People say, gosh, can I introduce you to this person or to that person? I say, you know what? Yeah, you absolutely can. And last week I met the head of customer acquisition for Warby Parker, and I didn't even know necessarily who he was beforehand, but a friend of mine, Lauren, said, hey, can I connect you? And I got so much out of that. I sent him a book. I thanked him because I got so much value out of a breakfast at 8 a.m. But I just try to, say yes to those kind of blind dates because, again, then I'm in the ambient awareness of other people. So part of that is, I mean, we all get a bunch of these, and I used to be kind of sloppy about this, and I've gotten better. I still can get a little bit better, but if someone sends me an intro and says, I'd like to mutually introduce you, I try to write back right away and say yes and get it to my assistant to get it scheduled, you know, because otherwise it's like, you know, just sit in my inbox. But like actually meeting the people, you know, I met someone a couple weeks ago, and I think we're gonna, you know, I'm gonna hire him as a consultant, and it's like these things can just pop up in a really kind of cool and organic sort of way, but you have to follow up and you have to be open. And then, by the way, that you should add them to LinkedIn or add them to Facebook or to Twitter or Instagram, Snapchat, whatever it may be that you're using, because then like you want to stay connected, because maybe you meet once and it's cool and you help each other, you follow up. I mean, you know, someone I met yesterday sent me a cool TED Talk after we met, there's a follow-up or whatever else, but then you don't know where those connections are going to go or what's going to happen. So again, if you just join, say hey, give a like, give a little hate thumb, or whatever you want to do, something, because they fly across my screen, it's kind of fun. Zoe gave me some great coaching to be seen and to be connected, to take my freaking sunglasses off, even though it's probably looking cool with them on. I think I agree with Zoe, you know, being seen and connected without the sunglasses is the way to go. A couple other thoughts on this. You know, either the follow-up on that, you know, being the first to say hello. I went to an event, got a little heart, yay, my first heart on this talk. I went to an event on Tuesday night, and it was with a tech company that does like engagement surveys and things, and it was on the roof of Tumblr headquarters in New York in the Flatiron District, like literally like it was right over like there, exactly. And so I was there, and you know, I just always make it a goal to be the first to say hello if I can. I sat next to these two people that were engaged in a conversation, not super intimately or anything, but I just said, hey, like I'm Ben, whatever, and all of a sudden it turned into someone that like seemed really interesting, was interested in Pilot and potentially bringing us to their company, and just like a delightful, fun person. And so you want to just think about part of being seen and being connected is not just being the person wearing the whatever this pattern is shirt, you know, in the corner, but like the guy or gal that comes up and says hi. And like people are always freaked out about like what to do or how this works. It's very, very simple. You just go, hi, I'm Ben, what's your name, how are you? Like, that's it. Like, no one's expecting some huge thing, and you're not picking anyone up. It's not a freaking bar and a date, you know? You're just simply, and even that, by the way, just say hi. It's the same thing anyway, because no one says hi. Everyone's on their stupid apps and phones. Like, actually say hi, and you'd be surprised what can show up. Oh, there's Trish right there. Hey, Trish. Trish is great. Trish is a killer networker and relationship developer, and adds a lot of value to other people's lives all the time. That's how we first met. I think we met actually on Twitter before conferences and have stayed in touch and help each other out, you know. And there's Chris Durgos. Thanks for saying hi as well. But yeah, Trish is fantastic and is all about being seen and being connected. But you know, if you're at a conference or if you're in an event, you want to make sure that you actually make the most of it. Because what I see is you go with a buddy or a friend because you're scared, and then you sit and you talk to them about your company, and you don't learn anything new, you don't meet anyone new, when that person next to you could hire you for the next job or invite you to some cool event or party, whatever. Zoe asked about any advice for introverts, not like me, obviously, but others. So yeah, Zoe's definitely not introverted, although I'm sure she has her moments of recharge and things like that, like all of us do. But a big thing is sometimes it's just literally, it's asking the questions. I think sometimes introverts in particular are worried about like saying the right thing and like having to have it all figured out and be very quick. We have a little a live child. See the child back there? And the idea instead is to like ask questions. So Dale Carnegie said it's better to be interested than interesting. So it's like a good salesperson always asks discovery questions, open-ended ones that get the other person to talk so you can learn about them. So you can take the pressure off of yourself by just knowing when you get in that conversation, like just keep the conversation go. Hey, Adam, keep the conversation going by keep asking more questions, like being curious. What about that? Does this ever happen? Have you met this? Have you thought of that? How does this work? Like people like to talk about their own stuff, and it's kind of easy then. And you're not talking about like dumb shit like the weather. I mean, you always know you're at the bottom of the conversation when it's about the weather for more than like 5 seconds. It can be like, hey, it's miserable out, or hey, it's really nice. Okay, great, but like the next thing, it's a nice little quick connection point, but unless you're a meteorologist, like get off the weather. Like you're not going anywhere in that conversation no matter what. So then, Trish asks about tips to exit the conversation. That's a great one. I should do a whole talk about networking specifics actually, so maybe we'll do that at some future point. Oftentimes you can really hit it off with someone, and then it's almost like they're like, oh, thank God I met someone nice and like we're connected and I don't want to like let go of you, and they feel like they're almost like clinging to you. And instead, like what you wanted to say is like, hey, it's been fantastic meeting you. I'm going to go meet some more great people like you. here's my card, let's connect on LinkedIn, maybe we can have coffee. Like have it not be the end, right? But it's the start of the relationship. It's the end of the conversation, but it's not you're like slamming the door in their face or kind of giving them a cold shoulder. You're just saying, hey, I'm here to meet a lot of great people like you, or maybe you say together, hey, let's go meet some new people. Sometimes someone will be, if you have got that introvert, bring them along. Like just grab their little arm and say, hey, you know what? Let's go work this room. Let's meet some new people. Maybe there's some people that are cool just like us, or some other people that think that this conference is like crazy or that are like bored with whatever, and make it a thing. Like my friend Zach is great. We'll go places and we'll tag team. We'll go around a room, and Zach's like 6'7" and like this towering, handsome presence, which helps, and he's very gregarious. But nonetheless, we'll just like walk up and Zach just goes, hey, like, I'm Zach, who are you? And like, it just starts, and we'll go together. And if I'm gonna have an off day, then he'll help kind of me and that energy. And if I'm having a good day, that helps as well. Hey, Paul, by the way. Adam said the Dale Carnegie book he's read. Yeah, How to Win Friends and Influence People. I have the audiobook I listen to like probably once a year. It's a fantastic classic. Trish has got to go in St. Louis, but I hope you're well, or wherever in the world you are, Trish. So that's another great tip is just, when you get out of those conversations, because you almost want to look at like when you go to an event or networking, like more is better. You may think of like having one solid conversation, but like, what if you met a bunch of people, and it's not like you're trying to like meet 55 people, right? But meet like more than one person. Meet 2 or 3 or 4 or 10 people, and then you have some follow-ups, right? You want to like have your calendar full in the next couple of weeks of people to meet and to follow up with, So I met at that event the other night, I met someone from Tumblr, even though it wasn't even my target, and like we're connected now on LinkedIn and Facebook, and we're gonna have coffee like in the next week or two, and it was like a great connection. And someone else from Warby Parker's there, and someone else from a startup's there. Someone else reached out about resume advice, and we talked a little bit about that and sent them kind of some suggestions on that. So like that follow-up matters, but like more, you want to like cast a wide net. They say with networking, the wider the net, the better it works. That's how a net works. So again, back to just being in people's minds, their ambient awareness, like share often, be available. I mean, I ran into my co-working spaces over at Noya House on 25th and Park Avenue. It's a really cool spot, and I'm like walking around the corner, and I'm like, boom, and I run into this guy who I like met in Denver years ago, who's a friend who was like living in Switzerland, and now he's in Berlin. And it's so funny, like he's like, oh, like how's your company going, whatever. And I was like, I hadn't talked to him in years. Because I share, hey Melanie, Melanie's giving me a double thumbs up. Because I share, he's like, I'm totally up to date. He's like, I'm a lurker, I don't post a lot on social media, but I do listen and follow what you're up to, and I'm interested. And so, I have that all the time. People will come, with like being a coach or doing, I do speaking and I facilitate events and things. So much of it is people that are just like, yeah, we were like doing this thing, and I was at a meeting, I was in a staff meeting today, and I got back to my desk and Facebook, and I thought of you, and I went to your website, or looked at your Facebook, or do you do that? Can you help with that? And sometimes it's yes, sometimes it's no, but like it's never someone typically I would have like approached. Like I don't send like postcards out or something or whatever, like to market in that way. But they thought of me, and then they connect the dots, and then we see if something can work out. And frankly, I've gotten a lot of business that way, and other opportunities or invites or cool things, introductions, people I can help out, people that want to help me, etc. So again, be seen and be connected, because a lot of fantastic things can come your way. Don't be shy. Don't be an introvert. Don't worry about overly self-promoting, because you're going to be useful and helpful to other people. This isn't just like the you show. If you're at that event, be the host, like introduce people to other people, help find where the bar is, give them a compliment, be curious about their industry, give them a tip on a book, a restaurant, an app, a podcast, whatever it may be, because then it's not just about you, it's actually about being connected and being useful to other people, which is good for your brand, and also ask them a lot of questions, gets the pressure off of you. So check out Pilot Minute Coaching. We're doing a couple more of these here. We've got, I think, 3 more left. And we'll see where we go from there. But thanks for checking in on a Thursday afternoon rather than a Tuesday morning. And live from Madison Square Park in beautiful New York City, right near my office. If you don't come to New York, let me be the Convention and Visitors Bureau and say you should come. So thanks everyone. Have a great rest of the week.